Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request. This time for Sean. Sorry about the lateness. Trying to get these out as soon as I can. That's why I'm uploading about 3 a day. But Sean sent in a request for the House on Haunted Hill, the original from 1959. For those interested, request any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, video game stuff, whatever. PayPal is usually the best bet, or you could join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. I do have a Cash App as well, since some people actually asked about that. Now, House on Haunted, this film, I don't hate the film, but after watching it fully, I can't say I'm a big fan of the movie. I much prefer the 1999 remake. I'd almost say that remake is inferior to this. I disagree. I think the remake has more stuff actually happening, more stuff going on, other than the really dodgy CG at the end. I really like that movie. This one is made by William Castle. Now, William Castle, to me, was more of a gimmick man than a director. I wouldn't say he was an Ed Wood type of director, far from it, but his gimmicks are more memorable than his movies. Whether it be this one called Emergo, where, hey, get all these theater chains and make sure to have a skeleton. And when a certain scene pops up, have the skeleton fly by the theater. Or The Tingler, also with Vincent Price, like this one. Okay, make sure you have these seats and there's some kind of device so they feel like a tingle. And oh my god, is the creature in your theater? Or here, there's a life insurance policy. If you die while watching the film, your family will pay for the funeral. So there's all these gimmicks that got people interested, got people involved into experiencing it, which helped box office. Which I don't know, maybe that's something they have to do nowadays to make people go to the theater. If you want to experience this, you can only experience it at the theater. But the movie itself, you have Vincent Price and his wife who hate each other. And Vincent Price is the best part of this movie. Easily the best part of this movie. And there's been a party that's going to be started, and 5 people are going to arrive. If they could spend 12 hours, they get $10,000. The 5 people, you have a test pilot named Lance. You have a columnist named Ruth. You have this doctor who wants to study hysteria. Right? Which just kind of reminds me of Liam Neeson in The Haunting, 1999 remake. You have Watson, who's the owner, which I recognize the actor. He was on this episode of this show I watched called Elf, the alien from Melmac, Elf. And he was Uncle Albert. He was in one episode where Elf was in a tent, and Uncle Albert heard noise, opened it, saw Elf, and had a heart attack. Yeah, there you go. And then he owns the place. He warns that 7 people have been murdered there. He almost died there, but he goes back. Never fully explained why he still goes back. I guess for $10,000, which was a lot of money in 1959. And then Nora, who works for Vincent Price's company. And I guess Nora you would call our lead, I guess. Even though all she does is cry, yell, or scream. So she got annoying real quick. So yeah, Lance, Ruth, Doc, Watson, and Nora. So they arrive there, and Vincent Price says, hey, you'll be here for a bit, but you gotta make a choice. Which is funny, you gotta make a choice whether you leave or stay, but then everything gets locked up so they don't have the choice anymore. And a few things happen. A chandelier falls, and they get out of the way. This place just happens to have a pit of acid in the basement, because all basements have acid. And I think they did try to explain why there's a pit of acid, but still, it's a fucking pit of acid in your basement. Again, not typical. It is trying to be the old dark house type of movie you would see a lot in the 30s and 40s. And Vincent Price, like I say, he's the best part. His back and forth with his wife are my favorite parts of the movie. Like Vincent Price is talking about how you tried to murder me. You know, darling, would you go away for $1 million tax free? Probably not. You poisoned me. Oh no, it was just something you ate. Yes, arsenic on the rocks. That's what I drink. Like just Vincent Price's cadence, his stature, his delivery of his dialogue. He brought a lot of class to a film like this. Oh, like there's a woman, the columnist Ruth. I guess it's black and white, so I could guess it's blood is dripping on her. It's like why would the ghosts haunt me? Why would they mark me? And Vincent Price goes, I say any self-respecting male ghost. It's one of those things where not a whole lot happens except a lot of wandering around. I'm always thinking, can we go back to Vincent Price? Because the other characters, probably the other character I had in mind was Watson, the owner. Because he had a certain look, a certain demeanor. Other than those two, I didn't really care about anybody. The guy, the test pilot Lance, he's very bland. He's very boring. There's not much charisma to him. Nora, she just yells, screams, and cries a lot in hysterics. It got annoying quick. Ruth, the columnist, is pretty pointless. She really does nothing to service the movie. The doctor's there for a plot point later on, so yeah, I can't really say other than Vincent Price and maybe Watson, the other characters I didn't give a shit about. Uh, I don't know. There's really nothing creepy or scary about the film. Maybe because it's a 50s movie, and there are 50 movies I enjoyed. The Thing from Another World. I still think that one jump scare is very effective, whereas the Geiger counter and you don't hear music. They open the door and it's there, like, oh shit. And they got ducked before they get their head knocked off by the creature. Like, that's still effective. And that's a 50s movie. And there's a lot of questions that come up in this movie that you go, well, that doesn't make sense, and why does that happen, and huh? Like I say, it's a short film. It's a very, very short film. It still has that, black and white, old school feel. They don't make movies like this anymore, so it's still like a little trip down memory lane, little refresher course. Like I said, Vincent Price and his dialogue with his wife, I forget the actress's name. They bring some fun blackish humor, dark humor to it. But spoiler alert, you find out that the wife and that doctor are working together because they want to take someone and they're guessing it's Nora. They get her so hysterical and so crazed that she will shoot and kill Vincent Price. It would be, quote, the perfect murder. And so much of this doesn't make any sense, whether it be how do you know Nora will go that far? She could shoot him in the leg, she could graze him, she could shoot him in the ball, she could back up and Vincent Price like, okay, what if there were the other four, or I guess at that point, the other three people there who stop her and one guy knocks him out? And then if that's the case, then someone would have to find the body, but there's no body, so if there's no body, what's going on? There's so many things that could go wrong with that. It's a very, very, very flawed plan. Also, like, you have this scare where the woman turns as this blind woman going, and she glides out of the room, and you find out, well, her and this guy are the caretakers. Were the caretakers working for the wife and the doctor? Because all they mention is, what about the caretakers? Well, they have no idea what they were really doing. So they were told to do that? Hey, blind lady, I know you're blind, so you can't tell who's coming towards you, but just make this. And how the hell did she glide out of the room? Did she have roller skates on? Maybe, I don't know, maybe they only had roller skates on. And why have them leave if they're working for you? Why have them leave in the first place? Why not have them be with you to help you out some more? Or do what they're told some more? Because they get to a point you never see the caretakers again. Or there's a bit where also she glides out of the room, and 10 seconds later the test pilot Lance comes in. I'm like, how the hell do you not see a blind bitch floating out of there? She's blind. She's not going to run that far. She's not Sonic the Hedgehog. And like 10 seconds later, Lance comes in. He's like, what's going on? You didn't see the fucking crazy lady come out? Are you sure you're a test pilot, or do you fly with your eyes closed? It just... Same with... There's a bit where some of our characters find the wife dead, hanging there. And they think that Vincent Price did it. Because the wife had kind of talked to a few people that my husband might try to kill me, blah, blah, blah. Talk about an early stage of cancel culture. Sure, blame him. Without any evidence. So it gets to a point where Nora looks outside, sees the wife as a ghost outside, floating. Somehow the rope by itself is going through and wrapping around the feet of Nora. How does that happen? Like, how are they making the rope by itself move forward, by itself hook around her legs? Osmosis? Magic? And then she turns, and as she turns, she walks 5 feet, and the lady is still hanging there. Does she have twins? Does she teleport? She was outside there, floating. She walked 5 feet, and then now her body's hanging there. I don't know, was that supposed to be a mannequin, maybe? Maybe they explain that. Maybe they explain that's a mannequin. A fake one. I'm trying to think. Did the doctor say... Oh, I'm trying to think now. Maybe they explained. Maybe the doctor said... Oh, no, no, no. They don't say that. But no, what the doctor says is... The wife goes, how do we explain why I'm alive? And then he says, we'll just say it's a mannequin. And, you know, I checked it, but briefly I made a mistake. So it wasn't supposed to be a mannequin. It's supposed to be the girl. They say, we'll explain you're alive because we'll say it's a mannequin. So it is supposed to be the lady. So how the hell did she go from outside to now inside hanging? And she had this thing to fake her hanging. They explain a bit of that. So how the hell she get outside the inside in 5-10 seconds? And how do they know Nora will do exactly what they want? I mean, what if Lance the pilot, or Watson the owner, or Roof the columnist stopped her, grabbed the gun? Because there's guns, because there's these tiny coffins. Which they have that in the remake as well, these tiny coffins. And I just looked at the remake, like the characters. I like Taye Diggs. I like... I'm bad with names. Ali Larter. I liked them more. Ali Lauder was not just yelling and screaming and being incessantly annoying. She was being scared, but not to an annoyance like the girl in this. Tay Diggs was likable. It was easy to root for him. You still had Jeffrey Rush and the wife and their fun back and forth. I like Jeffrey Rush's character, that he's a prankster, and the whole opening where they're on the ride and you think the elevator's a free fall, but it's part of the ride, part of the experience. I like the twist that okay, it's not a ghost, but then there are ghosts. And yeah, I don't think they need to be CG, but I like that there are ghosts in there throughout the film, including Jeffrey Combs. Like those aspects I didn't mind. It's definitely a bit bloodier. Here, the girl has a gun, sees Vincent Price. Price goes, "No, no, don't do it." She shoots. She leaves in hysterics, of course. The doctor comes in, ready to drag Vincent Price's body to the pit of acid. But then you hear a scuffle. The wife comes in, and then a skeleton rises out of the acid. Now, we see later on that Vincent Price has this pulley system, but was that skeleton, is that the doctor skeleton? Thank God none of the pieces fell off of that skeleton, and thank God whatever rope is it, because it was dunked in. Is the rope like acid resistant? So I guess whatever, because the skeleton's dunked all the way in, but what about the rope? A piece of that rope would be dunked in too. So does acid not affect rope? Maybe it doesn't. I thought it did. But Noah comes out and he has his pulley system and steers the shit out of the wife, and the wife goes into the pit of acid. The remaining four come in. What's going on? Vincent Price explains they tried to kill me. I'll turn myself in. We'll see what happens. But then Watson is going to the camera and talk about it as if it's haunted, when nothing in the film showcased there was a haunting. So it's not really effective. It's not like, oh, this place could still be haunted. No, there's never anything in the movie really to really showcase that there were actual ghosts. So the movie just I found kind of dull, kind of boring, kind of nonsensical a lot of the times. And other than enjoying its old school aesthetic and Vincent Price in a short running time, much prefer the remake. I think the remake has a lot more going for it in terms of the plot, in terms of the thrills, in terms of the characters. I don't know, just didn't do much for me in this one. So, but Vincent Price is definitely, like I say, he's the best part of the movie. Like I said, just William Castle, I don't think he's much of a director than just a gimmick man. And that's how he made his living. God bless him. So that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.